I remember this song.
Hey, Dave, it's
Hey, good morning, everyone. Remember this? Tupac. Whenever he's still, do you think he's still alive? Things will never be the same, right? Jeez.
Right. Changes are here now.
Oh, I know. I start going into the talking. He was a good artist.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, they always say, is he still alive or was he on an island or something like that? You know,
Tupac, Elvis, Biggie, they all
Elvis.
say.
Yeah, they're all living there. Hey, good morning, everyone. David Wilson of Results, and we got the staffing shark, Richard Rosner.
Good morning, Monday.
Yeah, I know, right? I worked all day yesterday, on some direct hires, and I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Caffeine, Dave. Caffeine. Get your coffee in, buddy.
I've already had it. Now with all these friggin' lights on me, man, I'm sweating the caffeine out. Richard, I got 13 lights on me, man.
You're like a studio all the time.
It is. It's friggin'. I get a suntan, man. I don't even have to. I get my vitamin D. You know. Hey, this morning, everyone, we want to talk about change and how to handle change. And you know, Richard and I talk at night a lot and try to come up with some ideas with the show and discuss things that some people don't want to discuss, basically, you know, and I like to say have a discussion about it. It's not whether we're right, you're wrong, you know what I mean? It's just a discussion. And
right.
When it comes to the recruiting, Richard, I'm going to let you start it out about change. Where do you see the staffing agency right now going?
It's a 360 change right now, Dave. It is a 360 change. I see all the boards on all the staffing organizations and stuff. People are changing, but not as quick as they need to. I mean, we need to change right now. I mean, if you change right now, you're going to be so, you know, what do I want to say? You know, you're going to run into races at the end of the day. I mean, it's going to be awesome. But here's what it's about. It's like we have to embrace everything that we've done in the past is the past. We have to start new. And what is it? It's virtual. The famous V word, virtual. I mean, we're going online on everything. I've seen people posting stuff, you know, old slogans got to go out. Temp, you're not a temp anymore. You know, you're a contract worker. Onboarding doesn't work because when you say onboarding, what do I feel? When I say here onboarding, what do I think?
You're going to fly.
On a plane, Dave, with a bunch of people in a suitcase, just like a bunch of people.
It
you have to be individual. You have to be one-on-one with somebody. So the onboarding process, drop that name right now. I've seen it like 4 times yesterday on different social media platforms. And I even commented and say, you're not going to get a candidate this way. Just keep saying, oh, I'm going to onboard you. That's not the way to be personal.
You know, I've looked at it, Richard, and if everybody in the staffing agency industry has not learned from now, you really got to pick up some of these new tools, the new software, because I feel like we're always changing. Listen, every time I turn around, I'm adding something, doing something, because that onboarding is pretty much to where we're going to be able to just do this virtually from onboarding people. Onboarding, see, I'm even saying it. Hiring people through the hiring process all the way through, meeting with the HR, including HR, meeting with the hiring manager, just like this on a platform of 6, doing your orientations right online, just like this. Those are the kind of things that are really going to make you stand out right now.
Exactly. And everything is in the cloud. We are a cloud recruiting company now. That's what it's about. Face it or not, we are cloud-based now. So the paper resume, people coming into your office, you know, that was great back in the day, I want to say. But now you can do everything virtual. And you know what, Dave? You've proved it, and I proved it right now in the last 5 months that we can find a dozen candidates, 1 million candidates virtual and put them out to work without even seeing them. It's amazing.
Rich, I have the 3 direct hires, and I know companies don't want to hear this, or recruiters, some of them, but when you give the flexibility of working remotely, you know, over the weekend, first Sunday was the best day yesterday. I put 3 people through the process, talked to them so relaxed on a Sunday. Everybody on Sundays was applying for the jobs. So I'm done. The video, as soon as we get done here, I'm going to send them to the companies. And I have one for down at the pool company I told you, for the office person down here in Ottsville. Gotcha. This is done. And I did it all within 2 hours on a Sunday.
And you know what? Here's another thing. We're going to have to change the hours. Monday through Friday and not work the weekends. If you're in the staffing industry and you're not working the weekends, you're going to fall behind. My most successful days is Saturday morning from 10 o'clock to noon contacting candidates, and Sunday just an hour or two of your time. I know we all need to take time off.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to know when to manage it, and that's when the candidates are available on the weekends.
Well, that's what we talked about, because think about it. You got your office of recruiters, 5 of them, let's just say. I've said it before. It works. In my opinion, I don't even know why I have to say that, but in my opinion, but listen, the way with childcare and everything happening right now, wow, what a way to do it. Because I know, listen, like you said, time off, Sunday, did I want to do that? But you know what? When I got the alert on my phone, I was working around the house anyway. Now, for a direct hire, whether you're a direct hire fee, we all know how that affects your P&L, right?
Yep.
It took me, when I got that alert on that phone, man, I had that thing set loud. I was like, whoop. And she's like, Dave, I can't believe you answer on a weekend. I'm like, oh, no. For direct hire, bring it on, baby. Look, I'm not sure they're going to get, hopefully they'll get the interviews, but that's all it took. And if I'm with my family, yeah, I wouldn't respond. But you have to change. So if somebody during the week needs to leave 4 hours early or watch their child, take a day off, take Thursday off, take a half a day here and half a day there. And then as long as you answer your messages, that's it.
And you don't even have to be on the phone. I
No.
have 2 people interviewing today at a hotel. And guess what? It was all through text.
Yeah.
While I'm watching Netflix, I text for 5 minutes. I got them set up with an interview. How quick
You
is
got
that?
yourself. That's what I mean.
That's
And
the future of technology we got right now in our hands. We got to use it. We have to embrace it and use it.
I know it's harder that's the mistake by myself saying that. I know it's harder.
That's okay.
What I mean by that is, if you have an office of 5 recruiters, it's not that hard. If it's not, it's an excuse, because everybody goes back to, well, corporate, it's a bigger company. No, you're a branch. If you're a branch, you can individually change. You can change your branch the way you want to set it up.
You're exactly right.
You know, if I took over a branch,
profit, you're good to go.
that's it. And if I was to go back into a branch setting or be any kind of role like that, I'll tell you what, boy, would that be changed fast. If I'm never going to say if never, but if I ever got back into something like that, wow, could you make some changes, man? And you're crazy not to.
And that's where we're falling into the brick and mortar. And you know what? And we talked about that real quick. You know, a lot of the workers in all industries are saying, wow, they're shutting down the corporate office. Just think of this, everybody. They have this big building.
You don't need it.
It's what, 20% filled? Even when it is filled, you know what? They're paying overhead, electric, water, all that stuff. Why can't they just have you work remote, give you a better salary, better benefits and everything, and they're saving on the overhead? It's a no-brainer. So why do you see all these companies saying their lease, they're not re-signing their lease? It's a perfect fit. Once again, it's a change. These big corporations are going to run out of a small office with about 10 little desks, and that's it. Everything's going to be remote.
You could put one person in there. You could have one person in there in a small place, just a small downsize, put one in there and have your team all around. There's all different options.
And with the Zoom and the Skype and everything virtual, you could have a morning meeting with everybody, and they could be in California, Atlanta, wherever. You're right there like you're at the board table right in front of everybody, right?
Yep.
So why have people drive in and all that stuff when you can just wake up and you're right there?
And I'm working with Duck now, Rich, with Vic. Vic,
yes.
Listen, you know how we do our onboarding. You know how you have to fill out all the applications online? How everybody says this is horrible, 2 hours. That's going away. And Vic is announcing, and I'm excited, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, to where on your website, like my website's going to change to where, listen, you want to apply for a job, you click it with your resume and just your resume and your video resume, right? It goes to the company. That's it. You don't have to fill in all your information, because all your information is on the freaking page. It's on there for now, because you don't hear anything anyway. If they're interested, they'll reach out to you. So think about that. So Cynthia, yesterday, she said, Dave, I spent 2 hours. We're going to have her back on the show. 2 hours filling out an application, trying to get everything done, when soon All you have to do is go to the website, click, apply for the job, attach your resume and a video resume. You do it, right? Goes to the employer. That's it. So now think about that. Now the employer has just got to reach out if they're interested.
Exactly.
That's it, because it's there.
It's so easy now. And just remember, about a year ago, we started texting candidates and actually HR people. See how that changed? Now it's like common, right? Who picks up the phone? You text a candidate a lot of times too. And they respond back and forth that way. Video texting. I mean, there's so many avenues. I think the biggest thing in this whole episode that we're talking about here is you have to embrace change. Look in the mirror and say, I'm going to change today. And I'm telling you, the staffing industry is booming right now. If anybody said it's not, it's booming. There's a lot of hiring going on, Dave. We've seen there's a couple of job places, over 1 million jobs. I mean, people's looking for people.
And that's where it goes to where we say change, and everybody says it, like right now, I guarantee, hey, Alberto, there's the man.
Good morning, Alberto.
Good morning. I guarantee right now, and I put a posting out last night. What is it? 9:00. So you have everybody, they're doing their morning meeting. The HR directors are going in there, I bet. And this is in logistics side, and I'm sure other industries. Wow, well, we're short-staffed again. Well, we're this. They're sitting at meetings. Well, let's do this. They come up with a great idea. And it's happened to me because it feels good. Wow, that's a good idea. But you don't follow through with it.
Bingo. You never complete the task. And that starts with life. Everything you do in life, if you're going to play a softball league or anything, Dave, you got to finish the season out. Yeah. That is it. And everybody's panicking right now and saying, oh my. I'm telling you, I'm the first one, and you probably are too. I love this. Yeah. Does anybody see me on social media in the last 8 months? I'm embracing this change. And we have so many tips and techniques that I'll be blogging throughout the whole week here about change, because this is the wave of the future. We're not going back, guys. This is it.
It is.
Am I right?
No, you're right. And with all the new things that we have going on between the Hire Me Friday, all the special guests coming up this week, and it's mainly just to show the different tools. We're going to discuss that on another show. What we got coming up about reviews with corporations. We are excited about that. Yes, different softwares. We're going to try it out. We're not going to go there right now, or else 20 minutes.
You're right.
But like, even when HR, everybody gets upset with a staffing company right now. Like I said, I guarantee the staffing companies, everybody's like, oh man, we didn't have 15, 20 show. Mm-hmm. You're calling that customer, okay, we'll give you this free. Don't charge us for that. That is what's wrong. And you'll appease them by doing something. You'll be like, okay, we'll do this. And then everybody's like, you breathe.
Exactly.
But you didn't fix the problem.
And I seen it this week again. This is why we brought this subject up. I seen so much social media where they're saying basically, is anybody walking on eggshells with their company's HR?
Yeah.
And this is like your contract out with these companies. Why would you ever walk on eggshells?
They're your team.
They're your team. You set up a plan. Here's the initial thing that nobody ever does is when you go in, you're so excited just to get the contract to throw people out there. How about saying, hey, HR, let's work together. I'm going to make your life easier and my life easier. It's simple communication that a lot of people are scared to talk about.
They are. They don't. And Richard,
I'm telling you, it's 100% communication. When I go in and I talk to somebody, or we do Skype videos now, or we do Zoom, we are on a plan. We're writing stuff down where we're going to work together. And if that worker doesn't work out, we're not like saying pointing the fingers. We're like, how can we keep this worker here? Can we talk to them about, is there something going on at home? Let's sit them down and talk. And they put me on video and it works out. It's a problem solving thing that we can help.
Yes. The retention there again, I've been guilty of things. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't do things that I shouldn't have. I've just learned now through the experiences of this has brought change to me on steroids. I am so aggravated. You hear me at night. Dave, calm down. Well, you try to figure this new thing out, and it takes you 3 hours to figure it out. But once you do that, oh my God, I'm so excited this week to be able to concentrate on that whole plan and reach out to some other companies. I'm doing sales today, a majority of the day, and show them. If the way I look at it, Rich, is change is visual for me. I like to see it. So I'm working on something now with like a video to where it'll be behind us, like we've talked about. And you can walk them through the process of what you mean, because like the video resume, like all this stuff, the tools that we utilize, the Hootsuite, all that, if they see it, then they'd be like, wow. Put them in front of this laptop on a share screen. They're like, wow.
Exactly.
But it's hard to get that vision to that person because they're busy. They don't have time. HR doesn't have time to sit 30 minutes, an hour with you. They don't, some of them.
No, but this is where you put it down on bullet points in a
Yeah.
simple text or email and say, hey, these are the things, and this is how I can make your life very, stress-free. And,
Yep.
And it's all, Dave, it's communication. We can say this over and over again.
Yep.
Don't be scared to talk to HR just like your best friend. They should be your best friend, right? That's it. Don't walk
HR should be doing HR. HRs, I'm sorry, I've said it. HR should be doing HR. They're not recruiters. They're not staffing. They didn't go to college for staffing. Let them. I always get some kudos for that, but let them. If you would just let them take care of the people.
Exactly.
Am I wrong there? Because HR should not be handling contracts. They do everything now. HR does it all. You might as well put safety on them. Put the safety program on them too, because their minds, they come in the morning and they're bombarded with everything.
Well, here's the big mindset. Another change thing. Anybody in the staffing industry, when you hear HR, your first expression is your heart starts pounding, right?
Yeah, they scare the hell out of me.
You can't be that way anymore. We have to be open-minded.
No.
When you talk to HR, you're thinking, wow, this is part of my team. And when you have that positive mindset, it's going to go so much better. Tell me, trust me. I've done this over and over again for the last 5 years. And there are people's like, how do you get in there? And I'm just not going to toot myself on the horn, but it's like, it's about simple things I've done in 2012. Dave, it's about just sitting down and just having a talk with them and saying, how can we work together?
Yes.
And don't be saying, well, this is what I do better than the other staffing firm. Don't. They all do that. They come in and I hear HR people like, well, they badmouthed your agency why would you do that? There's nobody better. Right. We're all in this together. That's the thing.
They can't even handle half of everything out here, and they don't want to. I'm not going to go in that route and get me all riled up.
But no,
there's so much work, and we're going to be talking about collaboration more this week and working together. And to me, I'll work with anyone. If you build a trust, you can have 5 staffing companies. I will help anyone. Listen, the knowledge that I have, that you have, everybody has different techniques. You are very passionate. You like getting out there in your costumes with your kids, passing out things. You come up with different ideas that are off the wall for me. And I'm like, but it works for you. And it works.
Dave, it's about, real quick, it's about making people feel good. That's my first thing. It's not about finding them a job. It's about making them feel good, make that connection between both of us and say, you know what? Now let's work together to get you a job. It's that initial thing. If you go in and say, I'm here to find you a job, that's not what it's about. You got to break that barrier somehow. And that's the way I do it, is just by, being passionate and saying, I care about you as a human. Now, what can we do to get you the job?
And you can do that in high volume also.
Oh, you
don't have to hurl them up like cattle. I was at a great company, a great logistic company, and that we had, and I really liked the general manager. He came out in front of like 300, and I was like, oh, here we go, same old thing. I was mesmerized by the way he talked to everybody. He talked in such a way, I was like, wow. It wasn't like a drill sergeant, it was, he cared.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the way he didn't mention any of that. There was 4 different companies. He didn't care. It was a team. But those are the little things that can take somebody to be like, wow, I want to work here. As simple as that was. Now, he could have been different tone, with the rules and what you're to follow. But I don't know. Your approach to things, not the negativity, the way you talk. Am I wrong? I mean, do you agree?
No, and you know what? We have so much negativity on social media. Yeah. Even in the staffing industry, I see it all the time that they're just, what do I do next? What do I do next? Here's what I want to tell you, everybody, real quick out there. If we're the recruiter, which I call myself the job agent, I don't like the recruiter name.
I know.
The candidate is changing too. Just remember, you're not the only one changing. They're changing too. Both parties are changing. So let's change together, right?
But why do you think, I'm trying to think how I would handle it to where a lot of your recruiters, I know, right? Different names. But a lot of them have great ideas, but they don't want to say it because they say, well, we're not going to change.
No, they don't. Nobody wants to change, Dave. It's like going to the gym,
Right.
anything like that. It's like, you know what? You go for what they always say. When you go to the gym, the first week of January, everybody goes and everybody falls off the wagon but they're like, well, I want to change. There's only one way you can do it, man. You got to look in the mirror and say, I can do this. And
well, I like
that.
No, and I agree. I like another company real quick is he does a whiteboard. And what I mean by that is he has his team. Okay. Mm-hmm. Before he makes any type of change within the company, they're his team. They're his brand. That's what he called it. Their brand right there. 50 of them. And he says, all right, everybody, he goes up on the whiteboard and he writes down what the change that he wants to do. Then he sits there and says, okay, now, if anybody out there has any better ideas, come on up and write down why we shouldn't do it or why we should or what you want to do. They do it because they have fun.
That's awesome.
So then think about this. So they go up there, they write, well, I wouldn't do that because, well, this is a good idea, but. And then he says to himself, he didn't think of that. You can make a change yourself, but you got to listen to your team because then it was like, you had your chance. If you don't say anything, it's done. But that they were not afraid to walk up there because they knew him, the way he would talk and be like, all right, he didn't want you to be afraid to make a change. He didn't want you to be afraid not to.
10 minds are better than one mind, right, Dave?
That's what I mean. Because everybody
has to be about. We're not anybody that's in a management role. Remember, when you say manage, it means you're part of the team too. It don't mean you're a supervisor, right? There's a difference between, you can't be directive. Let everybody have some input. And you know what happens at the end? Retention is going to be incredible. People is going to stay because they feel like, wow, I'm part of this team now. I'm just not a person that says, go do. It's like my input is affecting the company, right?
Yeah, and if it can save you 10 people in 1 week, woo! 10. God. 10 people. If 10 people stay for another week, or if you treat them, they stay. Can you imagine that? And listen, it's not like a magic pill that in the high volume or even some of the smaller companies with 10 to 15. If you see people leaving, if they're leaving, I wish I would have done things differently. I always say that.
Yep.
If I can do things differently now, but I really want to find out why they're leaving. Why? Why is there high turnover besides just saying, well, it's hot? Well, it's everything. That would, the revenue alone to find out what's wrong and fix it, change it, do something.
Exactly. Because you know what, Dave? How much does training cost to train people? Even in light of training. And then you just burn a turn and, well, we'll find 10 more. Do you realize that all you're doing is spinning your tires and you're never going forward, right? Does that make sense? You're just in the mud. And you're spinning. When are you going to get out of the mud, guys? It's change, It's we can say this all day. It's listen to the agencies, and if you have 10 people walking off the job, and it's over and over again, then the companies has to look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, maybe there's things here we have to, maybe we have to change our shifts and make them 5-hour shifts instead of 12 hours. I mean, or maybe we should not have like 12:05 midnight shift and they leave at 6:05, stuff like that. Then weird shift hours. I mean, come on.
My favorite is till complete. Till completed. Wow. No, but I get it. I understand you have to get the job done. That I'm not talking about like that, but when you try to sell that to when you're completed, people like to have a schedule.
But here's one thing I always say, Dave. You put them in 12 hours. What if you have 5 hours? If they get the production in 5 hours, they get a little bonus. They will get more done in 5 hours than they would 12, right?
Yeah, the incentive, and there's
work
so many
smarter,
different
not
ways.
harder. Work smarter. I think stuff like that. You have to have incentives. Hey, you get this done in 5 hours, this production. You can go home, and we'll throw you an extra hour, bonus or something.
You have some managers then that'll say, well, if they can get it done in 5, then they do it in 5. A lot of employees are like, I'm not doing that because if we do it in 5, they're going to set that standard. And I've seen it to where then they'll raise the standards.
Raise the bar.
Raise the bar because, wait a minute, if they get that done in 5, why do we give them 12? There's the ups and pros and cons, but that's where it comes into communication between both. Okay, but you're telling them to do this, and then you're going to backtrack. But anyway, I think we've made our point this morning, and we'll let everybody go. But change, everybody. Listen, just reach out to a lot of the different companies, look online. That's where I get a lot of my ideas. I just look, I read, and I'm like, wow, get that sample, try it. And on that note, Richard, I mean, I know you always like to take the end here, and here he is, the man.
Well, you know what? It's this is a big topic that's true to my heart, and I'm sure Dave's too. This whole week, I'll be blogging a lot of stuff on change. Reach out to me. There's so many different avenues we can do to recruit people, and different lingo that we have to change to, because, you know, when I say different words like the onboarding thing, I'm telling you, people get a little edgy with that. And you know what? Here's the reason why. I asked people, candidates, I said, when I say onboarding, what do you think? And you know what, Dave, real quick, they said the same thing. It just feels like I'm another number. So I'm actually talking to the job seekers and asking them, what do we need to do as a professional to change? So I have all this data that I'm going to be sharing everybody this week that, you know, ask your job seeker stuff, because, you know, we want to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing.
And change is all about everything. At the end, I'm going to sum it up. We change our hairdo. We change our clothes. We change a car every 4 to 5 years, right? Why can't we change our career path right now? Stay in the same industry, but change our method on how we do it.
Make a t-shirt.
Change.
Simple. Change. So, all right, Rich, thanks. And we'll be talking later on. It's time to get to work. I got to fill like 4 orders. I know you have a couple. And
got it, buddy.
Let's talk soon, man.
All right.
At the end of the day, here we go. We're going to end it. My favorite saying with Richard, you never know. We're going to end it right